Hi, this is the End Podcast, co-host Matt. And what you're about to listen to is an excerpt from our podcast, which if you enjoy this, then you can find the full episodes on all your favorite listening locations. And all you have to do is search for Spank Media and The End. So, on with the episode, and I guess over to me. So, what should we do now, Tim? You got time to tell us what you've been up to reading? Have you been reading anything? Have you been watching anything?
I have. I have been reading the second Batman omnibus, the Grant Morrison one. Have you started that
Okay.
yet? Probably.
No, I'll do it. I'll do it in a couple of days. I think I'll do it in 2 or 3 days next week.
Yeah. So I won't say anything about that, but so I've been reading that and just trying to catch up with some like random like floppies that I have that
Oh yeah.
yeah. But nothing sustained other than the Grant Morrison. How about you?
I've been watching a lot of television.
Okay.
I watched Gen V, the boys spin-off.
Oh, how was that?
Brilliant. It's really, really good. A perfect accompaniment to the main series. I was worried that it might be a spin-off for the sake of spin-off. This feels original. It feels like it has a vitality. It has all the elements that made The Boys good, but in a completely different scenario. You buy into it straight away. There's great characters, there's strong characters. It doesn't lean on cameos. The overarching story is intelligently entwined, and there are so many characters that step on the side of being protagonist and antagonist, and the dexterity of characters provides for an episode to episode a lot of fun, and you really want the next episode as soon as possible. I rewatched the first season of Invincible to bring myself up to speed before the second season came out. I forgot how good it was. In my mind, it's stuck there on that's a good series, right? But then when I think about it, I'm not passionate about it. It's so good. It's what Robert Kirkman does really well. What he did with Outcast, what he did with The Walking Dead.
Mhm.
It's like he's had chance to do a second or third pass on how he would tweak his comics if he ever came back to it. The way he reorders stuff to keep people interested, but doesn't go too far astray that it feels alien to the original comics. There's something there for people that have read everything. There's something there for people that have read something. There's something there for people that have read nothing. And again, it has that limber storytelling where it doesn't set archetypes, it undermines archetypes, and then it brings them back. And there's a real flow and tension and real human side. Doesn't skirt over them as people. The superhero isn't at the expense of them as people. But the action sequences, my goodness, the choreography is outstanding. It really is how you do in animated adaptation. And I forgot how big the voice cast is. It's outrageous. Outrageous. Like top 20 are all A or B list actors.
Wow.
Amazing. And you don't ever, even when you know, like you might go back onto IMDb to have a look, and then you read it, and you're like, oh shit, yeah. You go back, you don't know. You don't know because they so sublimely portray each of the characters. It's a tragic story as well. It's really, really well done. So there was that. I also watched Loki week to week, and in stark contrast to the Marvels, this made me feel that MCU delight again. It is just brilliant. The emotion that Tom Hiddleston puts into this character, the journey that it goes on from the first episode to the last, the supporting cast all add to the color and the vibrance of this story. And it also does something I never thought I'd say again. By the end of Loki season 2, by the very end of it, and by the way, this is the first Marvel series, the MCU proper, as the rest have been sort of shuttered. It's the first one to stick a landing. It wasn't just a big CGI fight, that it wasn't similar powers, let's fight each other. It didn't have that cringeworthy Anthony Mackie speech looking at the camera. You need to do better, Senator. I'll keep an eye on it. Genuinely an emotional ending. Oh, wow. And it managed to make Quantumania look better with one line of dialogue.
Okay.
It explains it. It is exemplary. And it sets up expectations. They find a character and you're thinking, the way that it plays with the way that sort of time travel and all that sort of thing does. It does everything. It does a Groundhog Day. It does a Back to the Future. It does a bootstrap paradox, like a Roberick grandfather paradox. And it plays on all of them. It doesn't look at the camera. It allows you to see it. And then you're just accepting of it. It's not contrary to what was set up in Endgame either. It very concisely says, this is the reason why, and let's just go with it. And there's so many twists and turns. It feels like so much more than, I think, the 6 episodes. And it's quite strange that Invincible, Gen V, and Loki, I can't remember the last time I had one series that I was eager to watch the day it came out. So to have 3 running concurrently, I've been having a whale of a time with streaming services. Rick and Morty's back as well. Been watching a few of those. I've sort of lost my gusto for that a little bit. I think what made it great, it's gone more to a sort of, it's become a little bit more silly, I think. It's more fiction than science currently. But it's still enjoyable. Episode to episode, still enjoying it, but I don't think it has quite the same gumption of the first few series. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Oh, and a comic that I've read, The Good Asian.
Oh, yeah. I remember you were reading that.
I think, look, it's fine. I don't think it deserves quite the accolades. The attention to detail for Asian Americans, brilliant, informative. I feel like I know more about that experience. It leans on that quite heavily, which isn't a problem because it creates the world. The story's been told 100 times more. And when you've read quite a bit of Brubaker and the twists and turns and the espionage and the machinations of a Brubaker story, this pales into insignificance. It's a very linear noir detective story. And I don't think I've not read the second half yet, only the first half, but I think the story was lacking, but the world felt visceral and informed. Not at the cost of it, but I feel like if there was as much attention played to the basic plot, then I would have been a little bit warmer on it. But yeah, like a good 6, 7 out of 10, something like that. A 6.5. Yeah.
Invincible, does the show track the comic or does it deviate?
It's like with The Walking Dead. If you can imagine a stream, it's not going from start to finish. It'll meander left to right.
Right. When's the second season come out?
Yeah, it started 2 episodes in.
Oh, okay. I gotta watch that. I've been meaning to do that forever. That's a good suggestion.
And also there's a special for Atom Eve as well. They did like a one-shot in between series. I think it's episode 202 or something like that, or 2.02 or something. And I was a bit wary of watching it because I thought, oh, this might be a bit shit. It's really good. Really good. Yeah. It's just a thoroughly well-made series. Straightforward.
Sounds good.
Excellent. Let's leave it there then, Tim.
Sounds good.
Oh, dearie. Wow. I was a bit of a grumpy Gus this episode, wasn't I, until I got to the end. Maybe we should have talked about the things that I actually liked. Oh, dearie. Yeah. Tim, let's watch these 2 films that I thought were shit, but then at the end I'll spend about 15 minutes speaking glowingly about things I actually liked. Well, at least you liked Royal. Well, I didn't dislike it, did I? I just saw a couple of issues that yeah. So let's say goodbye to the people then, Tim. After you.
Goodbye, people. Ashburn, Brussels. Hang in there. We're gonna try to upload every week. We're gonna try to record. We have actually a lot planned over the next like 3 months, I think.
Yeah, we have a lot. And with I know the scriptwriters' strike is over now. However, I don't think, well, Neon and A24 have a free pass. So hopefully they'll spring up with something every now and again that we can look at. They've still got a pretty full slate. But yeah, the major studios and especially the tentpole stuff we talk about, that's probably going to be like May, June next year. But we have a bunch of cool comics that we're going to be talking about. We've scheduled Neil Gaiman month in January, and then we're going to go through a few classics in February. And I think Joe's going to join us for that. Tara's going to join us for the Neil Gaiman month. The ones we have currently slated for February are Gotham Central, Dan Slott's Silver Surfer, and Brian Michael Bendis's Alias.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So that only leaves me to say goodbye. Your regular co-host, Matt. Thank you very much for listening. And again, just to remind everybody, hit subscribe, please, everybody. Or go to YouTube and follow us on there where we chop up the episodes. Just a reminder, that's the End Pod one-shots on YouTube. On Instagram and Twitter, it's the End_pod. And if you found one of those chopped up bits of content, we are the End on all your favorite listening locations, but you'll need to search Spank Media, the End. So that only leaves me one more thing to say. We have been, and this is the End.
Good to know I don't have to watch Marvels.
Yeah, you will though, won't you?
Yes, I will.